So today's video will hopefully answer the question for you, does fertility yoga really work? Because I get this question all the time and it's a great question. Like, what is the difference between fertility yoga and regular yoga, and how can it possibly help you conceive your baby? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we get into it though, if you are new here, big welcome to you. My name is Bettina Ray. I'm a yoga teacher and I specialize in yoga for fertility, pregnancy, birth, and early motherhood. So the first thing I want to make really clear is that fertility yoga is not magic. It's not going to be the cure-all that makes you fall pregnant, though it can certainly help when you are trying to conceive, and especially when you are struggling to conceive, whether that be because you've lost babies or it's just taken a really long time, or perhaps you're going through an IVF process. So I honestly think the number one way that fertility yoga helps is that it helps with your nervous system, it helps with the stress and the anxiety that trying to conceive can create in the body. And it's a really practical way of dealing with it, rather than people just saying, look, you just have to relax. It's like an actual thing you can do and something you can work towards and work on to bring your stress levels down. So I think that's a really positive thing. It's not vague and like, yeah, just relax, which is like, well, how do I do that? So for me, after I'd lost my 3 babies, I knew that I was anxious. And as I started to unravel that more, I could feel it and see it in my body, but I was like, but how, what do I do with it? Interestingly, I was already doing yoga and I was already teaching yoga, but I hadn't really kind of connected the dots of how powerful it could be. I was still doing quite a strong yoga practice. I was challenging my body and building heat when actually my body needed the opposite. It needed to calm down. And this is what a fertility yoga practice is really great for, really calming you down and balancing out the high stress that your life might be. From that, the second way that fertility yoga is really helpful is it helps to balance out your life and helps to balance your overall health. So rather than just focusing on your reproductive system, we obviously look at the body as a whole system. So it's more in line with what traditional Chinese medicine does and Ayurveda or yoga sister science does, in that we look at the whole body and how you are as a whole human, not just that one small part of you. I know for me, I've had many women that I've worked with in the studio around this, but one woman in particular stands out. She was very career driven, very focused. She worked long hours, she worked in a high stress environment, and her exercise at the time was going to the gym and working really hard. And so there was no part of her life where there was that downtime. And so once she started practicing yoga with me, we brought her nervous system down. And so she was kind of able to see, oh, so much of my life is stressful. And from there, she was able to make really positive changes to her health. So instead of just coming onto a strict fertility diet where she cut out gluten and cut out dairy and cut out sugar and things like that, which would have just added possibly more stress to what was already a stressful life, starting with yoga helped her to just kind of calm down first and then be like, actually, this isn't making me feel so great. I might cut that out for a while. Actually, the caffeine is not really helping me. I might cut that out for a while. So it really helped just to kind of overall start to make choices from a better place, which is what yoga does for a lot of people, whether you're coming to yoga for a fertility problem or not. Often once we start practicing yoga, it allows us to slow down enough to kind of make better decisions in our life overall and obviously impact our health overall as well. And so the third way that I think fertility yoga really helps is we're able to work deeply into the reproductive system. So I've worked with women in the studio who've had really irregular and painful cycles, and we've been able to, through yoga practice, kind of unpack that, where it's come from, looked back in the past and kind of seen, have they always been like that, or did something happen in their life that sort of triggered that event? It's almost like our reproductive system responds to the stress in our body, and so this traumatic event kind of makes what may have already been there a lot worse, and we've been able to unpack what's been happening and then kind of deal with it and process it in the body. So that's really helpful as well. So obviously if you feel like that may be an issue for you, that there's something in your past that might be holding you back, you probably need to work one-on-one with a yoga teacher. Working in a big class environment might not be enough to kind of unpack that. Although in saying that, yoga really is a practice of self-exploration. So perhaps as you start to tune into your body, you'll be able to notice these things, and in your own reflection time and your own meditation time, unravel this for yourself as well. That's another way that I've found fertility yoga to be really helpful for the women that I work with in the studio, is just really unpacking what's gone on in your reproductive system in the past, working out how to balance it now, being able to work deeply into those areas and really work on the relaxation techniques that you need to just find a better flow and a better balance in your body, to be able to find a way to really work with your feminine energy and tap into that rather than feeling like you need to be go, go, go the whole time. Often just that simple change, changing from this pushing mentality to more embracing and flowing, is enough in a lot of cases to improve your fertility and to get into a really good place to conceive. I hope this was helpful for you in explaining the 3 ways that fertility yoga can help you. So really reducing stress and dealing with that anxiety, improving your overall health, and then working into your reproductive system and balancing out whatever is going on for you, and that's going to be individual to each woman. So if you are ready to start a fertility practice with me, I hope that you are. You might like to download my free fertility yoga guide that I have below. If you are local to the Sunshine Coast, I would love to see you in the studio. Otherwise, feel free to send me an email to connect if you would like a personal one-on-one program designed for you, wherever you are in the world. Thanks again for joining me. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Namaste.